It's coming to an end.
Not
Did you call me once?
just yet. No. All right. So this is a store that is already famous for being on the YouTube machine because it's a total hoarder. And we had a very good conversation. How long ago was that?
Oh, I don't know. 3 weeks ago?
It's the way it works. First, understand
Yeah.
you're a good natured guy, and a lot of this does have to do with nature. When we're doing business, you don't want to lose sleep. You know, there's nothing better than digging a ditch all day and having a cold beer and laying your head down on your pillow. And this is a very different type of work, and this work will drive you nuts if you let it. So
Yeah.
understand that beyond that, time is always on our side. So in this case, there is an operator in this laundromat, yes, poorly operating. If I remember correctly, the agent never even mentioned their actual status. We don't care. Not that we don't care about other human beings or other business owners, but you buy a used car, you don't ask, hey, what's the history? Did this ever get repossessed? I don't want to purchase this vehicle for a lesser price and take advantage of somebody who lost it because they lost their job, et cetera, et cetera. It's the way of the world. You don't have to be a cutthroat pirate in order to do well in business. You don't. But you can't always look out for the other guy either. That said, we sent a letter of intent. It was very well done, and they sent back not only a response to that LOI that we need to talk about. There's been a lot of back and forth. I don't like the term phone tag. I should come up with something else, maybe telephonic squash. But they all, what are you doing? Are you returning videotapes?
Oh, man. No, I'm putting some I spilt my ratchet set.
Do you want
I'm listening to you.
You want to do this
I'm
next
listening to
week?
you to try to organize it.
Speaking of digging ditches, all right. Anyway, it's coming through loud and clear. That's the 5/16 you just dropped. So
Yeah.
they also did a weird thing that we should talk about where they said, hey, go ahead and send us all your financials. Well, you know my take on that, and maybe you could fill in the blanks. It's really obtrusive. It's about 10% of the time where the landlord says, okay, send us your financials, let us know what your P&L life looks like, and maybe we'll give you a lease. Now, if you're signing a lease in an apartment for the first time and you're 17 years old and you're trying to get out of the folks' house, you might just say, well, this is the way of the world. They want to run my credit. They want me to sign this form that allows that. They want first and last month's rent. That's what's written on the sign out front of the apartment complex. And they want a deposit on top of all of it. Well, that's the way of the world. If I don't have $800 for a deposit and $1,600 for first and last month's rent, then I'm out. I'm not going to be able to live in this space.
Right.
What we know as adults later is that there's always a way to negotiate. Maybe not an apartment complex that's owned by a conglomerate or real estate investment trust, but if you look in the paper and you find a home where someone's renting a room over a garage, you can always negotiate. So that's more this than that. But they're trying to make you understand that it's not, that it is a real estate investment trust and that this is the way they do things. It's not the case. I have never asked you what your finances look like. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter to me. Doesn't matter to them. Most people don't get involved in owning small businesses because they are concerned. They are fearful. I talk about fear a lot. They're scared that if they get into the process, oh, it's going to come out that I'm a felon. Oh, it's going to come out that I had 7 bankruptcies. Oh boy, they're going to find out I was the president of Paraguay for 20 years. Thanks for laughing at that. Now, short of that, when they ask to see your financials, before they will even say yes to the LOI, when we're in the middle of truly what is a negotiation, that's a little embarrassing. It's a little bit of a backhand, isn't it? And you've heard my analogies. They don't always hit home, but that's like going to buy a new car and the guy stops you right at the door and says, hey, step into this little glass room and slide your social under the door. And once we pull your credit, we'll tell you which vehicle you can afford. Damn. I know some
Yeah.
people like to wear an expensive watch when they go to buy a new car. Frankly, doesn't matter to me. I also know people that will show up in a house dress or holy jeans because they want to have some fun with that salesman when it's time to buy that new Mercedes that's $180,000 price tag. I'll just write you a check. So that's up to you. If you have the time and the inclination, by the way, no one in my family buys a car without bringing me along. That should make sense. My aunt tells me, I'll buy you lunch. I'm like, lunch is for pussies. Let's just get you the car for $500 over invoice and get it done. You, on the other hand, are not family. So thanks for paying me for all this. All right. Kimberly, I don't have a crystal ball, but I do read minds. And I think the first thing we're going to hear is lots of phone tag. Okay. Drinking game. Every time she says phone tag, grab a shot or continue to file away your ratchet set. We have what is an LOI in the Google document in front of me. I have the back and forths. And you're going to hear me basically just, hey, what's going on? What's up with the LOI? What do we need to redline? And hopefully she's not going to go straight to the mattresses and say, well, we want to see financials, because we'll go in that direction. But all of this now is academic. Everything we are doing now is academic. And you know me. I might be a scholar, but I'm not a professor. So I'm not here to talk about what we're going to do. Mute your phone for the love of God if you're going to be playing with ratchets. And feel free to interrupt or go into the Google document, which is a great tool. Oh, you're not there. Are you even able to get in front of it?
No, I'm out on the work field.
That's fine.
Guess.
That's fine. There's the next question, right? Let's do another YouTube about whether or not you can own a string of laundromats and still have a full-time vocation. You know I don't like the word job. The answer is yes, absolutely, positively. I've got people all over the world doing it. Let's call Kimberly. The big deal here is really that we asked for price per square foot. You have to understand in a letter of intent and a negotiation, everything, the free rent, the abatement, the tenant improvement money, the cash from the landlord, all of it is minute compared to the rent, because that's what really matters. And with the another analogy, hey, you might love the styling of the new Corvette, and that's the car you've got to have, and maybe you'll do anything you can to get it, but the reality is it's that horsepower that matters, not the color, not the styling, not the rims. And in this, the rate of rent might end up costing you 20, 30, 40, 50, hundreds of thousands over the lease rate. So that's the most important thing. We asked for no more than $11.50, if I'm right, and she came back with 12.
Yep, she came back with $1.
Yeah. So hopefully she's not watching the YouTube live, because at the end of the day, that's exactly where we need to be. $12 a square foot per year and $1 per square foot per month is ridiculous. It's phenomenal. Remind me, what else is the big deal here? The cams we can't change.
They want us to start paying rent. I think it was like as soon as the place got opened up and going.
Right. Well, she said the earlier of 150 days from lease execution or when you open for business. Very good. Smart. Now, I don't need to talk to you about what that means. You get it. You understand it. Most of the people watching this on YouTube probably don't even know that you can ask for and get free rent. They're saying that the minute you open the doors, you're going to start paying rent. This whole deal might go away and you can get back to your ratchet set. We don't really know. She's offered you, this is the one where she offered you $27,600 when the work is completed, et cetera, et cetera. That's all small stuff. That's all easy stuff. You're a handy guy, so you're going to do that yourself. She also put the security deposit in here, which is intriguing. I'm not going to talk about it now. Okay? I won't bring it up. It's part of negotiating. We get her to acquiesce to everything else, and the deposit will be in the lease. And that's when we say, yeah, shucks, hey, yeah, kind of easing them into it, but really it's her being the rep and the landlord and whatever cousins, nephews, and aunts that they bring into this meeting in the trust or whomever is important, the decision makers have already made up their mind. They're not sure about you yet, but once they draft a lease, they are. That's when we say it's a small thing. All right. They want you to bring in 1 month's base rent and the triple net. That's nothing. Should we bring it up now and end up putting a nail in the coffin of this potential lease? Of course not. No. That's why we don't bring it up now. Again, you've been a great guy as far as this being incremental. Some of my clients are very, very type A, and they want to know what happens next and what happens when we send the LOI. And well, you're going to see the call unfold when we make the call. And 3% of what I do is on YouTube. Most of it is not. Most.
Yeah, dude, I'm just chilling. I'm waiting.
I know. I like that. What else major stuff here, if anything?
I think that was about it. Just what you covered in the lease, whatnot, with the moving in and trying to pay rent, and then everything else.
Basically, yeah, like they say that they're not going to comply with ADA compliance in the restroom. They say they're going to deliver it as is. That's kind of odd. You know, we put in the term ADA compliance because, man, that sounds official, doesn't it? The American with Disabilities Act, and they're coming back and saying, no, forget some dude in a wheelchair. We don't care about him. Eef. You know, they're not.
I was surprised.
But they can do that. They can do or say whatever they want. And you'll hear me famously say, so you don't have any money? You don't want to spend any? They're going to give you 28 grand, but they're going to leave the bathroom alone. Okay.
Yeah.
So that's pretty much it. And you'll hear me very, very casually make it sound like very little, because it is. We have to let her steer the conversation until it's time to take the wheel. I like that. I'm going to write that down.
I think she's just, I think they did mention that guy was supposed to be out of there by, what was it, like October or September or something like that. So I think they know in the back of their head.
Yeah, that's bigger picture. You know, they understand that this, of course, the group wants to have someone waiting in the wings. They want to swing like Tarzan from lease to lease to lease. And we made this cold call out of the blue. The guy is literally a hoarder, and it's time to go feed the pigeons, bro. You know, it's over. Let's see if Kimberly answers the phone. Imagine that. Here we go. Stand by.
All right.
Now's where you subscribe, kids. Don't miss these lives. This kind of action? Where else do you get it?
Danny.
Kimberly!
We connect. Yay!
I can't believe it. All right. Do you have the letter of intent in your mind or in front of you physically, or none of that?
With you. But I can remember. I've got a memory like a steel trap. You just
my
ask
goodness.
away.
I can tell you what I paid for every comic book when I was supposed to be buying my lunch in 1986. All right. When it comes to money, I can't spell calculus, but I know 25 cents times 3 is $1.
Okay.
This is not a big deal, but I did. I mean, obviously to us, it's a big deal. But what I mean is, I always like to get this stuff hammered out telephonically. In the spoken word cannot be misunderstood. I can tell you to F off, and if I say it with my unique accent, you're like, okay, that's funny. But I'd rather talk about it. Price per square foot, you're saying $12. We can live with that. The triple nets are a little bit high, and that's really the most important thing we're trying to grind out here. Let's be honest.
I mean, if you want to start at $11.50, I'll start you at $11.50. Counter me that. We want the deal, but I got to know that this guy's going to operate it. You know, that he's going to invest in equipment and clean it out and all that. And I can
Kimberly,
get some bumps.
Listen, we are more invested in this business than just about any other type of small business. What do I mean? I'll let you start. Name a business, anything. The last retail center you were in, anything that's not a national chain. Name a business.
I mean, I have like 25 shopping centers right now. I mean, so
I'm letting you roll the dice. You might stump me. But I'm just saying, I mean, go with the world's largest retailer, right? Walmart. What do? They got 100 million employees. They've got a greeter out front. They've got a brand name recognition. They're trying to fight Jeff Bezos at every turn. But really, what do? They sell stuff, okay? The stuff comes in the back door in a truck, and they pay X and they sell it to us for Y. Simple. They could go away in the middle of the night by really shutting that center down and pulling all of their inventory out. Then there's just some shelves and some bathrooms left. Then there's maybe a nail salon, right? That's what? There's no product, really. It's labor intensive. I don't know anything about the business,
service oriented, fitness, blush fitness. Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah,
if you've got 37 nephews, and you can probably run a decent trade there. Now there's laundromats. There's two things here: infrastructure and equipment. Now, you can't get away with running these places absentee. It doesn't work. But on the flip side, we don't intend to be working in this place every single day. We attend the hours of attendance are 10 hours a day, 7 days a week. Eventually will be 24 hours. And we can't end up in the position your current tenant is in, because the equipment will always be renewed. And that's the difference. Hundreds of thousands in washers and dryers. Yes, we buy them right. Sure, we know how to communicate with the distributors. I don't care if I get Hips or Speed Queen or Wascomat or ADC. What I mean by, I should probably stop saying don't care. What I'm concerned with is price and length of warranty. The guy you should ask about your new refrigerator is your repair guy for your last refrigerator. He says, man, don't buy another LG. You know, you want to get X, Y, or Z. And that's what we do. So that said, we have no intention of trying to operate this facility the way it is. That would be nuts. And your tenant, I've never seen anyone go scorched earth. You know, it's an old Seinfeld episode where Kramer poured 10 pounds of concrete into a drain. Nobody does that.
We agree. My landlord was here this week, and she was like, Kimberly, get me that new operator.
I know.
I was like, okay, that's why I called you.
This is, again, we're right here. We want to see a lease. Sure, what am I going to say? No to 50 cents to start? You got your 25% increases. Let me talk about the reason I really wanted to get on the phone and have words with you. The rent abatement. Again, it's different than any other laundry. You very kindly scratched what we wrote, and you said the earlier of 150 days from execution or when we open for business. I love that. Let me explain. We're not McDonald's. The minute we open, we don't have people speeding by at 100 miles an hour, making a fast left and saying, there's the Golden Arches. You know, your kids are in the back seat screaming, I want a Happy Meal. We are not a national chain. We are slow not only to retool the store, that's the easy part, to be honest, because we'll be at the behest of our distributors, my plumber, electrician, the people that do the work, and John himself, who does tons of it. And once we get the doors open, trust me, I never have grand openings in my laundromats because it's a sad affair. You've got a marching band, fireworks, and one customer. They are slow. They are slow to come in. So the soft opening is day one. Go ahead.
Yeah. This laundromat, though, I mean, this area needs laundromats, and these people are used to laundromats opening there. But you tell me what you want.
No argument from me. I just want to be crystal clear, because I know you're in many ways, you've got the ear of the landlords and the powers that be, and you're my mouthpiece too. So here's the thing. We don't ask for 12 months of free rent so that we can sit and make money for 10 of those months. I probably won't be able to get my equipment for 12 months. You know what the supply chain looks like. Honestly, honest question. Have you tried to buy a washer dryer for your house recently? I think we talked about this already.
I mean, you know, I just was talking to a landlord today, and we're trying to buy a 7.5 ton HVAC unit for this building. And she was like, Kimberly, it's going to take me 12 weeks to get it. And so I understand that there have been supply chain issues.
Jump on it.
I get it.
And let me say this. Sometimes we get lucky. But I can't call my distributors now. I can't call until we have a lease signed. And let me make.
I know.
You know, because then there's two reasons. It's not the fear that they're going to scoop the place up out from under us because it's not listed. It's not that. I'll talk about all of it. It's the fact that if I come to them and say, hey, I might maybe perhaps someday be signing a lease in this spot, they're not even going to take us seriously. But when we say, we've got the lease signed, we're ready to go, We're going to make a check to you as soon as you bring us the equipment. What they are doing now is that, I mean, this stuff, it comes on a slow boat from China. No joke. So even though the manufacturer might be out of Wisconsin, we have to wait for computer boards from China. We have to wait for one tiny wheel or an annotation to come from China. So it's horrendous. That said, if we get lucky, they might take another guy's equipment that's already on a truck and do us a favor. They do us a solid because we do lots of business. I hope that happens. What about this? You're saying 150 days from lease execution. Well, I hope we can get this place operating with new equipment in 90 days. What I'd like to do, and I can put this in writing, this is only the second of, and you've acquiesced the first thing. Let's do 90 days, 3 months, post-opening. Give us 3 months abatement post-opening.
Okay.
So post-retool. We'll call it retool. So we retool the store. Listen, if this guy, you can text me anytime, and I'll text you back. If it requires a lengthy conversation, I'll call you back. If this guy leaves the equipment there, we'll evaluate it. We'll see if we can limp some of it along for a little while and leave the doors open. We will. But
just clean the space up.
Oh, that's happening.
The customers would be fabulous.
That's happening.
Yeah.
That, I want to be clear, that is happening. But the amount of, nobody gives a shit if I put up a banner that says new management. It's a laundromat. They just don't care.
Yeah.
But the minute they walk in when we've retooled and the place is sparkling white and the T8 lighting is in and the Alexa system's running, no joke, why not? You have it in your house, we put it in our stores. When that happens, they don't go on Yelp and give us a good review. No one cares. They tell their friends, did you see the new laundromat?
Yeah.
That's what we want.
Yeah, sure. Okay, so do you still need the 150 days up front to redo?
What I'm saying is, instead of lesser or, I don't know when I can get the place retooled. So what I'm saying is, post retool, and you can put whatever legalese or verbiage or a handshake and say, all right, we've renewed the equipment in the store, right? Once that happens, we need 3 months. And that's so we can bring the anybody that used this laundromat, Kimberly, has left. Laundries, again, are different. They don't throw their laundry in a closet and say, oh, I'll wait till a new one's open. It's something that it's a necessity. They have to have a laundromat. They have to use one. So they've already found another service center. And we want to drag them, not kicking and screaming, but we want to drag them back excited to this location.
Yeah, and that's what we want to. Okay, so I just want to make sure I'm understanding you right. I understand, that you need some time after you open a free base rent. Okay, so I'm going to try to get you that. But do you still need, how much time on the front end do you need before you open?
Well, if you provide, look, let me rephrase. I would like to get a year free, 12 months free. I get that a lot, but I might not be able to retool it in a year. So what I'm saying is we leave the front end open and you give us 90 days after we retool. If that's too ambiguous for you, settle on 12 months.
That's too ambiguous. This owner will never go for that.
I get you. You understand who they are and what they do and what they've done in the past. So I don't blame. Let's hammer something out that I can put in writing that makes sense.
So did we give you TI? Did we give you TI?
Yeah. You came up with a dollar figure. You're not going to touch the ADA compliant restroom. Come on, I thought you had a steel trap.
And then how many years?
It's a 15-year term. You want to make this float? Give us 20. Do another 5-year option. I'm fine with that.
Okay. I just don't know if I can do TI plus a year free rent. I just think that's steep. I mean, I want it to work, but
Kimberly, if we get the store retooled in 60 days, then you're looking at 5 months abatement. And that's, to me, not ambiguous. It's either 12 months or 3 months post-opening. Retooling, I'm sorry. I keep saying opening. The store's already open.
3 months post
retooling. Yeah. That means new equipment, stem to stern.
I think retooling is ambiguous because, I mean, you could replace one machine or you could replace them all. We got to have a little, we got to tighten it up some,
Yeah.
Danny.
Well, I will put that in writing so it makes sense to you.
Put it in writing.
I will put down what we intend to replace. We're taking the single stack tumblers, which is a term for dryers, and we're replacing them with double stacks. I'll tell you what poundage, and you'll see, because I hear what you're saying. Look, a lot of landlords don't even want a laundromat anymore. It's this old dinosaur. It's a horrible business. It doesn't help the center. It doesn't elevate us. Well, in this case, they want to keep a laundromat. They want to spend $80,000 on vanillaing this space. They want a good operator. That's us. We'll put that in writing, and we'll give you an either or. Good.
Okay. All right.
All right.
Put it in writing. Let's make it happen.
I couldn't agree more. Talk to you soon.
Okay. Thanks. Bye.
Imagine just doing this all day, every day. That's me. I'm not complaining because I actually
come on, Timmy.
I get a big kick out of it. What'd you say?
I said, come on, Timmy.
Timmy.
Well, at least we talked to her.
Yeah, she went back to trying to say, okay, well, why don't we do either or? No. We've already decided. So you're back to less than $12 a square foot, which is the most important thing. And bro, if you talk long enough and you end up making friendlies with people, you're going to hear what they really want. And what she really wants to go back to them is say, these folks are going to renew the store 3 times. I believe thrice she mentioned and called back to whether or not we were going to do that. Now look, if he vacates and leaves his equipment, we'll have all the distributors come in next. One of them will say, hey, I installed this stuff 10 years ago. Hey, there's nothing wrong with this. Once he gets rid of all the hoarding shit that's in there, you might be surprised. There's actually a laundromat under there. And you should be operating it the way it is with some repairs. Wonderful. Yeah. It's so easy just to clean this store out. And all of a sudden, and slap some paint on the walls, and suddenly you've got an operating store. And I think their fear is that you're going to try to limp it along and you're going to try to run it the way that it is. That's not what we do. That's not what this is about at all. So you understand why we couldn't have that conversation and that back and forth through texts or redlining an LOI, because I want her to go back to them, pound her desk and say, this is who we need here. And this is what they're willing to do. So do this. You have the equipment mix, right? You know what's in there more or less.
Yeah.
So email me. We're going to write back the 1150, go back to the original LOI and her markups. And then we're asking for 90 days post retool. And then we're going to put a bullet point list of what you're going to stuff in this store. All new.
Okay.
She wants zero ambiguity. Dude, you know what? There's no guarantees in life. And the guarantee that we provide is my conversation. The way that I talk to these folks, and I understand that. That's the reason guys like you want to bring me in. It's not scary to negotiate to people. It's just knowing the people. You play the woman in this case, not the cards. Not the cards you're dealt. You got to see her and look her in the eye and say, all right, here's what we want to do. And they're really showing us their cards in this case and saying, we just want a fresh new laundromat. I was just in a meeting, she says, with the landlords, et cetera. Go back into the document, make the notes, hit me with an email regarding that LOI, redline what the changes are. I'll approve it and we'll fire it back off before, end of business is gone for you. This works everywhere it's tried. Every time it's tried, no. Every time you stick to it and you carry on and you push through, it gets done. You got $27,600 free dollars. You've got plenty of runway to get this store operating successfully, but this is the incremental set. Did you notice she never even mentioned seeing your financials?
Yep.
It's weird, huh?
She did not. Huh?
What else?
So I just need to go in the edit the LOI to 1150 a square foot and then put down what we're putting in or what we're going to install into the existing laundromat?
Right. You want the word
Okay.
new. Use these terms: new, not refurbished, new.
Yeah.
Again and again. Put poundage of washing machines, etc. Up everything, up the ante. And I told her, we don't know who's going to do the work. We don't know which distributor we're going with because we don't. It's
Okay.
hard not.
Yep.
Now, understand how there is lots and lots to come. And that lots to come is incremental. So get this done, send this out. Oh, remember how I said time is always on our side? Bro, she went from the $11.50 that we asked for, which is the most important thing in a lease, the rate of rent. They asked for 12. And just now, without even asking, she said, well, I'll give you the $11.50. Let's just get it done.
Yep.
You know why that happened? Because it's been X number of days and or weeks since we communicated.
Yeah. And we're not just like acting like we need it. You know what I mean?
Well, we've made several calls. The phone tag thing, the telephonic squash ends up always benefiting us. I'll send out an LOI to a client. We just had a phone conversation. Bang, they email it back to me in 10 minutes. And like, what do you think, Danny? What do you think? Relax. You never send it the same day. This isn't a quiz, to use that analogy. It's not even like a term paper. It's more like your doctorate thesis. But it's not a lease. It's just our intentions. Hence the word LOI. Our intention is to marry your daughter, sir. It might not work out 50% in a divorce. In this case, they just want to think that we are the best plausible operator. They can't know it. They can't know it. So that's where conversation and polite encouragement come in.
Yep, I got you. They got to visualize it or hear you talk about it.
Johnny boy, I appreciate you. Send it back to me in email.
Yep.
Ciao.
All right. Thanks, Danny.
Thank you. That's it. Glad we got on the live. Is Jennifer Hilton that just bought my course, is she on here anywhere? I hope you are, Jennifer. What is today? This is free Laundromat. And let's talk about that for just a moment. Nothing is free. Okay. I called this system of mine, as much as I despise that word, free laundromat, because I made the mistake of buying a laundromat 100 years ago. Fresh out of the United States Navy, I started owning small businesses because every day for 6 years, my head was spinning, thinking about that, thinking about not wanting to take orders, thinking about owning something myself. So I got to work and I did laundries. But first real estate, I ran a private investigation firm. I'm not a rich kid. Far from it. One of my least favorite things are entitled rich kids. I'm creating them. I've got 3 daughters who I'm working every day to make sure they understand. You want something for $28? Work for it. We were homeless for 6 months. Is that the end of the story? No, that's the middle of the story. Divorce, drug addiction. That's why I never touched the stuff. Never, ever in my life. It was in my house. Not interested. If you're watching this and you take anything from this video, you know what the thing is that you do that stops you from being successful. Cut it out. Refocus and rededicate yourself. Aaron, thanks for buying the course. I don't know. Next person that gets the course, sorry for you two. You get the course right now during this call. I'm going to include a phone consultation. Ooh, that's a big one. All right. But during this call. All right. Bye, everybody. I did not grow up with money. The opposite. My dad made a lot of poor choices growing up. And I remember being 11, 12, 13 years old and starting to understand what money was about and starting to hear in the other room the fights and the arguments about that. There was no car payment. There was no talk of stocks or bonds or businesses or real estate like we have over the dinner table in my home. That which does not kill us. So I became stronger. At 51 years old, here I am. At 28, started owning the company. Bought a laundromat. I had money because I sold some properties. That doesn't mean it was free money. That means it was $250,000 that I wasted buying a laundromat. Because I'm this braggadocious guy. I'm not saying was, I still am. And I thought, hey, I can fix this. When I looked at laundromats, well over 20 years ago, there was no information. There were no YouTubers to decipher whether or not you liked them, or thought they were telling you the truth, or thought they were an Italian guy who's loud and from New York. You didn't have to figure any of that out or decipher any of that information, or go back and Google their name and see if there's any bad news or if anyone's been wronged in any way. I'm on all the forums, quietly. So, I decided when I started cleaning out coin in that store that I didn't know what the fuck I just did. I didn't. I had no clue. I didn't have a free laundromat to look at. I didn't have somebody's silly course to look at. You guys better get to work. I'm a problem solver. I fix things without a drawing board, without college, without a professor to ring-a-ding. And I did that. Employees knew I didn't want them. Second day I had that store, I walked in the back room. They had a young couple. She was pregnant. I said, you guys, you don't have to go home, but you can't stay here. Being paid under the table to work there. Now, am I a bad guy? Because I said, it's time to go. I'm not going to risk my family and my future paying these folks under the table. No, nor will I pay employees. Didn't know what I would do or how I would figure it out. One of the things I fixed. If you've got 100 laundromats, you might want a payroll, I'm not sure. But when you're getting into one store, like I had, you're not going to pay somebody under the table and risk everything. You're not going to pay someone to do as little as possible for a paycheck. Are any of you hourly employees? If so, I applaud you for being here and listening to what is essentially a money channel, an investment channel. It's laundromats. Why are they free? How are they free? You want to take umbrage with that word? You're watching it unfold live on this channel. Fill your head with the knowledge from someone who's been there. Not only that, but also having built an empire, having helped others build an empire, having created and minted millionaires. 25 cents at a time. What do you want to know? Go to freelaundromat.com. My FAQ page doesn't give answers. You go to walmart.com, you want to know two things. When do they open? Do they have my underwear? Not your underwear, but the underwear you want to buy. You go to my FAQ, everything that's covered in my course is there. The query, the question, the giant question mark. It's in the course. Ingest it. It's videos, just like this. Me at the helm. Watch the videos. There's quizzes in there. They're fun. It's not like the MVD. Tap your horn and turn left. Dinker doy, blinker. It's not that. I hope you think I'm entertaining because that's part of it. We all know the lit professor wasn't the greatest professor. It's always the math teacher. Ingest the course. There's also comment sections, just like here. So comment. I answer constantly. I've got the iPhone unplugged in. You want to move forward? Great. You don't? You just saved yourself the $250,000 that I lost Oh, I turned that store around. I realized that the whole laundromat business is basically equipment. There's the whole secret. What secret do you want to know? I'm still on the live. Type a giant word, secret, question mark. If you don't have the course, I'll answer it. What is the secret? There is no secret. The fact is, the preponderance of investors have never stepped foot in a laundromat in their life, and yet they think they can own them. I'd be better suited to own a pizzeria because I love to eat the stuff. Not true. Get the silly course if you're serious about this. Don't waste an hour or a day, because that time you can't get back. Next steps are entirely up to you. I'm shot out of a cannon. It's been a good day. Didn't have to use my AK. Appreciate each and every one of you. Someone says, I am changing his life. Thank you. Well, King Wolf, I know that's not your real name, but you're welcome. God bless. Send me an email. Nathan says, I love it. What a way to kick off Wednesday at work. Just over broke. Nathan, we need to fix that. Job stands for just over broke. Get out of there. I have this for you. I have laundromats, Nathan. Coin laundries. You don't need $1 million. You don't need $300,000. You don't need $65,000. On the back of the lease that folks like John sign, on the back of that lease, they end up with the perfect piece of paper to go to the distributors and get the equipment from the manufacturer. It's all in the course. It's free laundromat because you're not going to pay for the business rights. It's free laundromat because John's getting a $27,600 pay day check written to him because the landlord doesn't want to be bothered. Landlords are just like insurance companies. What does that mean? You buy a brand new car, they're not going to let you leave the lot until you show them that you have insurance. Here's my insurance card. I wrote a $200 check to X Insurance, and my car is insured. Have a nice day. Carry on. Off you go. God forbid you're so excited, bam, you get hit by a crosstown bus. The car is totaled. You're okay. 57 airbags went off. Crawl out of the wreckage, walk back into the dealership and say, yeah, need a new car. I'm exaggerating a little bit. They'll give you a new car. You drive off the lot in your brand new car. You look both ways this time. What's the point? How can X Insurance or Allstate or Geico, God forbid, how can they do that? Your $200 down payment for your insurance didn't even clear the bank. Stop me if you know this one. They do it because of the tens, if not hundreds, if not millions of people who are driving to church on Sunday and pay their premiums and never get an offender bender. That's how insurance works. In a nutshell, landlords are like that. Some landlords say, you know what? I'll trim the trees myself and I'll help you with the plumbing if I can, but I don't have any money to pay. Some landlords say, we'll take care of all the work you want. 20 tons of air conditioning, ADA compliant restrooms. It's all there. Done. In writing, shake my hand, sign the lease. Bam. Some landlords like this one say, I'll give you $27,600. Where the hell did they come up with that? Their algorithm, because they know that they've got all those other little old ladies paying their insurance premiums, which is their rent, in all their other thousands of suites. If you have never heard of free rent, you need my course. If you had no idea that tenant improvement money exists and that landlords will give it to you for your nail salon, or certainly your national chain, start now, or your laundromat. If you don't know any of that, shizzy, you need the course.
Delila D'Angelo.
That's my daughter. Let's have some fun. Hi, honey.
Hi. Are you coming?
I'm coming to get you. You're live on YouTube. Say hello to everyone.
So you're not coming?
I'm coming right now. I got to hang up with all these people. I love you. Is it
So
hot out?
Yeah, it's really hot out.
I love you, sweetie.
Okay, I love you too. Bye.
Bye. Life is good, ladies and gentlemen. I got to go pick up my kid. I'm not going to dawdle because she'll watch this and it'll be my ass. Get the course. Nobody's getting a free consultation, but that's fine by me. I appreciate each and every one of you. Delilah, I'm on the way.